Hello, this is Malini. Welcome to the YouTube channel ALC Discussion Forum, a unit of Amicus Legal Consultancy. Hope everyone is safe and healthy at their home. So we have a special guest today, Ms.Namrata Chauhan, mental health expert, psychologist. Our discussion today will be on mental health. So we are living in a tough time. Fear has taken in and out, body to soul. Now, how to manage depression and anxiety. So let's have a conversation regarding the same. Before that, I would like to read a little bit about Ms. Namrata Chauhan. Who is she? She has served at Indian Air Force as a civil psychologist. Therein, she served as a mental health expert for entire station, including the Air Force officers, airmen, their wards, including children of Air Force School and Kendriya Vidyalaya. She also been an monitoring and evaluation specialist at National AIDS Control Organization (NACO) for their target intervention programs for state of Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, and Gujarat. She has been an assistant director at UP State AIDS Control Society. She also served as resource person at National Institute of Public Cooperation and Child Development, clinical psychologist at Child Guidance Center. So welcome, Ms. Namrata Chauhan. How are you and how is your lockdown going?
Yeah, hi Malini. It's a pleasure to hear from you. And I mean, it's quite a tough time, that we all are living in, especially for the people who've been working and they've kind of have their schedules, always. So these are difficult times, but then, this is also a very good opportunity. I believe it's a blessing in disguise in very many ways, which we are going to discuss. And I think the challenges have brought out something, new in all of us. We'll be new beings, they're very positive and a lot of things to uncover, I would say. So lockdown has purposely been, you can say, measure for COVID-19, basically for keeping the social distancing in mind. But I believe it's come as a personality changeover, in a positive manner. That's how I look at it, Malini.
That's great. So first of all, my question is that how much is mental health important? Like I always see around that people when they get hurt, जब उनको चोट लगती है या कुछ physical issue होता है तो they बस clinic भाग जाते हैं. But when there is any mental issue, they don't even tell their own people. They don't even tell their own relatives. So just give our viewers a bit of focus on this, that how much mental health is important.
See, I would say I would rate mental health slightly above the, physical quotient, as I would, rate it. But equally, because what happens is that physically, you experience the pain, or you trouble in the body that makes you run towards the doctor. But what happens is that, when there is mentally you are undergoing, say, a turmoil, or mentally if you're upset, then what happens, Valini, is that most of us are unable to recognize, that we are under some sort of real trouble approaching towards the body, and that could be severely, that could severely damage the entire, human system. Like if I explain to you in slightly the technical terms, the whole human body, it has got a limbic system inside us. We all have it. That is the seat of our emotions, as we say. So emotions, they are so important to the body that, there are neurotransmitters. There are various other things, to be explained if I go into detail. But to cut short as of now, we need to recognize that, the physical ailments are in a way dependent on our mental state. Largely, what happens is that when you are sad or when you are depressed, there are certain type of chemicals flowing, and you can say, state of sadness or a state of depression for longer times could actually be more detrimental. You could have, very severe consequences of that. There are very many ailments that come, that can emerge inside the body. And, there are several cardiac issues, moreover, that can come up. You have problems like BP or problems like sugar, which are very common. So, these are little things that people need to be aware of. That how important is your mental health.
Health is, yes,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So, mostly that we hear about is anxiety and depression. So, just give us a view about what exactly anxiety and depression is and how it is different from being depressed or depression or fearing something or scared of something and anxiety. So, what is the thin line difference between both?
To begin with, let's begin with stress. Let's understand the stress part first. See, stress, I would say, is the basics, where the problem actually starts. Now, stress could be referred as anything that the body finds, excessive. You can say ki, you are in a complete state of, you're comfortable within your body. And if there is anything physically or emotionally that disturbs you, you find that as addition burden, that creates stress. Are you
Mm-hmm.
getting my point, or should I say it in some other language? Like sometimes, what happens is that there is a little task, right? Otherwise, you could do it very easily. But sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
you will just feel that, ki, this work cannot be done by me. So there
Mm-hmm.
is a disturbed state within you. You actually have all the capabilities, but due to some, some, you can say, triggers or something that is going inside you, you just find that the task cannot be done by you. And stress leads to anxiety and depression. Now, how are anxiety and depression different from each other? Let's look into it as, you just asked me. See, anxiety is something wherein we tend to overthink everything. We tend to overthink about something like when you find, there is an earthquake that has, occurred somewhere in Nepal. Now you're sitting comfortably in your room. If you have anxiety, you would continuously start feeling that what if the earthquake comes? What if I die? What will happen next? What about this? Some unimaginable things you keep on continuously thinking. So there is a lot of overthinking that happens in a state of anxiety, which is definitely towards negativity. And when we talk about depression, depression is a state of prolonged sadness, you can say. There the person ceases to think. The thinking process tends to, the person needs, like if you tell them, let's see, if you don't dress well and go to the office, the person is hardly bothered. Okay, it's fine, your shirt is untidy, that's okay. He's unable to manage himself. So that is a state, depressed state, basically. So
Mm-hmm.
depression is when a person ceases to think, and anxiety is a lot of overthinking happening inside the body. So in a depressed state, you might find a smile on a person's face, right? But that smile is actually fake. He
Right.
might just come to you, saying that everything is all right, I'm okay. But that okay has a deeper meaning and needs to be probed further.
Mm. Okay. And I think this is a thin line difference that everyone needs to understand, and this is where people get confused. And
Yeah.
when a person they share the same with their parents or their friends, there they misguide them, saying that no, this is something not taken to be seriously. So this is what our viewers need to understand: the thin line difference between fear, being scared, and being anxious, and depressed and sadness.
And one thing I would like to emphasize is that before putting a label of anxiety or depression or anything, you need to undergo a proper psychometric evaluation that will exactly tell you that what are you actually, where are you emotionally, I would say, or you can say, ki, what exactly are you going through? That can be very easily, you can do it through psychometric evaluations and therapeutic interventions also.
Right. So, my third question would be like, what if a person anyway understands that there is something wrong with their mental health? So, what are the first step to be taken when you understand something is wrong? It's not just sadness or fears or scare. What is the first step that they should take to make a step towards being cured or being taken help?
See, just like your physical health, we all need to understand that you need a specialist. You need somebody to pull you out of that situation. And that I know no matter how much you feel, that we can do it ourselves. You need to undergo a proper, therapeutic intervention. And that can only be done if you the sooner you reach, the better it is, because the prolonged illness could probably, you can say, elevate the situation as time passes. It doesn't go on its own. That needs to be understood. You need a specialist. That needs to, you need proper counseling sessions to be happening. So take an advice from a mental health professional as to what next. That is the first step towards, helping yourself, come out of any kind of psychological, you can say, stress or trauma. So the first step would be that refer good mental health professional. And then, yes, please come in.
Yeah. So what do you think are the stigma attached regarding this depression and anxiety or any mental health? Because still people are not ready to go to a therapist, thinking कि अरे मुझे लोग पागल ना बोलने लग जाए, क्लिनिक के बाहर मेरे को किसी रिलेटिव ने देख लिया तो वो तो पूरे घर में हंगामा मचा देगा कि मैं तो पागल हूँ, मैं तो पागल क्लिनिक जा रहा हूँ। तो ये स्टिग्मा कैसे हटे? क्योंकि फिजिकल के लिए भी होता है बट इतना नहीं होता, बट मेंटल के लिए तो इट्स लाइक बेसिक, लाइक मुझे साइकेट्रिस्ट के पास नहीं जाना क्योंकि वहां तो सिर्फ पागल लोग जाते हैं। तो ये स्टिग्मा कैसे खत्म करें? हाउ टू जस्ट रिमूव द स्टिग्मा?
See, Malini, I've realized that first and foremost, when your client is going through this, you need to make them realize that this is something that could occur to anybody and everybody. We are living in times, wherein stress is there in any form. It is not something, which it can, be segregated on basis of religion, caste, or anything. It doesn't see anything, and there has to be a lot of compassion in the therapist. That is what I believe. If you keep a positive regard towards your client, and when the client comes to you and goes out, there is a lot of viral, you can say, advocacy, that goes along into this process. So a positive regard for your client, and no matter what, the compassion inside you, will help the client come to you and probably go and tell other people that no, I'm proud that I took help from a psychologist. And probably, it is going to be your attitude that will bring about the change. And what I believe is that, over the last years, the situation has improved compared to the past 10 years. The last 5 years have been, I think, a lot better. A lot of children, I heard saying, they in class 10th and 11th and 12th that I'm suffering from depression, or I'm having anxiety, or I'm feeling sad. And, they come out with their emotions and they talk to the counselors. A lot has improved, but gradually and slowly, I believe things should be better.
Yeah. So finally, I would just like to ask that how to calm down in this state of fear or this COVID-19 pandemic situation, this lockdown. So I think the fear has made us more deadly inside than the virus. So how to just keep ourselves calm down and think towards a progressive world and think better the whole day. So, like I see that big families, some men or women, they are fired from their job. They have overstressed themselves, and some old people, they are always anxious because it's said that old people has to do not have to just come out and they'll be infected with the virus. So this anxiousness which is going around, how to solve this? How to just calm down?
See, there are two things that I would emphasize on. Number one is to stay positive.
Mm-hmm.
Stay positive anyway. Anyway, instead of counting, there's a slight, I would say, my viewpoint is slightly, different from what the media highlights, and that is that, the mortality rates that are depicted, if they could be turned somehow into how many people have come out safe from the COVID-19. If you
Right.
focus on the positive part, if you focus that, it can, it is not something that is completely not curable, because that is one thing that is causing very deep down fear in people. So if
Mm-hmm.
people, their mindset has to revolve, that we need to boost our immunity. We need to positively, if we try and change the psychology and the mindset of the people, I think that would be. And second point that I would like to emphasize, Malini, is that not to take any kind of information from any media source, any social media or any media. As a matter of fact, the news channels and all rely on the either on the ministry website, that is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. They have their website. Either go to their website for any kind of support, or the WHO website for COVID-19. Any information that people want, it's a humble request, you get it from only the reliable sources. Please don't go, don't believe the WhatsApp messages or any kind of, social media message or video, that is being popped up here and there and being shared by thousands or millions. That doesn't have any significance, basically. So, that is very important, that people need to know as to where to get the information from, which is going to be useful and helpful to them. So these are the two things, and then I would say just take all the precautions, that the government has said. That is, if you are into social life, distance of 1 meter or so is important. Then the PPE, that is your personal protective equipment that needs to be in place. So these are the basics, that would keep you healthy. And then, of course, as a psychologist, I would say keep busy. Keep busy. Do a lot of.
Yeah, I think that is the most important thing, to find happiness within the home, stay with the family, keep busy, and I think it's better to, keep being busy and find a better version of yourself.
Whether it is like so many times, so many times, we've always been complaining that we don't have time. This is
Yeah.
this is a way, wherein you can explore, like, all kind of interests, hobbies, whatever, you can listen to music,
Yeah.
you can just get into reading about anything, So these are the times wherein, I mean, a lot can be done if taken positively. So
Right.
that's it,
Great. So I would request all the viewers to do not go with these WhatsApp messages and fake news. Just always focus on the ministry websites, because there you get all the authentic information. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Ms. Namrata, to join with us. I hope we can, spread this message to maximum people and they can, make a better health, mental health, especially, and take this pandemic, take this lockdown positively, and proceed with their lives. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining with
you.
us.
Thank you. Have a good day, Malini.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Bye.